top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. Tropical cyclone Pepito has intensified into a tropical storm ahead of its landfall over Aurora and Isabela between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Tuesday, October 20. As the storm moves closer to land, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration raised signal number 2 in many parts of Luzon, including La Union, Benguet, Quirino, Pangasinan, southern portions of Isabela, southern portions of Ilocos Sur, and northern portions of Zambales. Signal number 1, meanwhile, is hoisted over Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Bulacan, Pampanga, Bataan, Metro Manila, Rizal, northern portions of Camarines Norte, namely Paracale, Jose Panganiban, Capalonga, and Vinsons. Also under signal number 1 is Catanduanes, the rest of northern portions of Quezon, particularly Infanta and Real, and the rest of Zambales. Areas under signal number 1 and 2 may also experience high to gale force winds. Pepito was at 295 kilometers east of Baler, Aurora, around 10 a.m. Tuesday, with maximum sustained winds of 65 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 80 kilometers per hour. After its landfall, the storm will cross Luzon, re-emerge over the West Philippine Sea on Wednesday morning, and exit the Philippine Area of Responsibility on Thursday. It is seen to further intensify and reach severe tropical storm category by Thursday while over the West Philippine Sea. Christmas is around 2 months away, and manufacturers of some Noche Buena products are requesting for a price increase. Department of Trade and Industry is now studying if the appeal of the manufacturers is reasonable. DTI also advises the public to choose products that offer value for money this holiday season. Our correspondent Jen Kabiling has the details.
At 1.6 destroyed, 1.6 destroyed lives. Who's going to answer for it? Kayo? Do you have a program? Do you have money to contribute to the rehabilitation of these poor people? Tapos kung may mamatay na pulis, wala kayong sabihin. And I have lost so many policemen in connection with the implementation of the law against drugs. When you save your country from the perdition of the people like the NPAs and drugs, you are doing a sacred duty. At 1.6.
Trade and Industry Secretary Ramon Lopez disclosed that some manufacturers of Noche Buena products are asking for a price increase of as much as 3% during the holiday season. Lopez said the Department of Trade and Industry Consumer Protection Group is currently reviewing if such request for price increase is reasonable. Based on previous experience, Lopez said around 5 companies of the more than 20 brands usually request for price increase during the Christmas holiday.
Wide po yung range na hinihingi nila from less than 1% to about 3%. Masasabi ko dun sa mga application. Every year po talaga may mga brands na nagre-request ng mga price adjustment. At ito po inaaral ngayon ng ating Consumer Protection Group. At kung reasonable yung mga increase at kung hindi man ay binabawasan kung ano man increase ang hinihingi nila. At the end of the day, ang ating consumers are advised to really select the products that we can consider, the brands that we can consider value for money. Sa madaling salita, ito po yung product na sulit sa atin, sulit sa mamimili.
Apart from the Noche Buena items, the DTI said some companies manufacturing canned goods like canned sardines and meat products have requested an upward adjustment of their prices.
Yeah, yun pong mga iba ring mga dilata tulad ho ng mga canned sardines, mga canned meat products, meron ho silang mga request. But again, ito nga po, tinitingnan talaga yung cost item. Hindi po kasi lahat po nung request nila ay naaprubahan naman under the SRP system. Lalo na kung ito ay part ng basic necessity and prime commodities. Yung pong labas or wala sa listahan, they're open to do so, yung mga adjustment, price adjustment. Pero yung covered ng ating SRP list para maprotektahan po ang ating mga kababayan, talagang ito po yung binabantayan ng DTI para hindi basta-basta makapag-price increase sila dun sa presyong gusto nila.
Meantime, Lopez is encouraging the public to choose products that offer value for money once consumer purchases reach its peak this holiday season. He noted that some companies usually offer bundling promo where a product is offered with another item at affordable prices. For MB Now, this is Jen Kabiling reporting.
President Duterte is willing to go to jail only for the correct indictment but not for alleged crimes against humanity in his anti-drug crackdown. In his televised public address Monday night, the president said he would take responsibility for the drug war but rejected allegations that his actions constituted crimes against humanity. Duterte instead put the blame on the illegal drugs and those involved in the illegal trade for destroying the human race. He said that while he takes responsibility for the deaths in the anti-drug operations, his critics should make sure the charges to be filed against him have a factual basis. Unfazed by criticism from rights groups, Duterte affirmed that his administration would press ahead with a campaign against the illegal drug trade, which has victimized 1.6 million Filipinos.
1.6 million destroyed lives. Who's going to answer for it? Kayo? Do you have a program? Do you have money to contribute to the rehabilitation of these poor people? Tapos kung may mamatay na pulis, wala kayong sabihin. And I have lost so many policemen in connection with the implementation of the law against drugs. When you save your country from the perdition of the people like the NPAs and drugs, you are doing a sacred duty.
The national government will spend until war-torn Marawi City is rebuilt to its former glory. In his weekly talk to the nation Monday night, President Rodrigo Duterte assured that the government has enough funds and is willing to look for more if necessary to rehabilitate Marawi City. He added, though, that it might take some time before the city can be livable again and refuted criticisms made by watchdog Marawi Reconstruction Conflict Watch that there is no real liberation 3 years after his declaration. Duterte explained that nobody wanted to deal with widespread death and destruction after the Maute group laid siege on the city for 5 months starting on May 23, 2017. Duterte declared Marawi City free from the terrorist Maute group on October 17, 2017. The 2017 siege prompted Duterte to place the entire Mindanao under martial rule until December 31, 2019 to quell the terrorism in the southern part of the country.
The money is there, do not worry. And we will continue to spend until such time that Marawi is rebuilt to its former glory. It might take some time before we can really reach the ideal place that you'd call home. In the meantime, itong mga tao na nagrereklamo, sabi, there is no liberation of Marawi yet. Look, government liberated Marawi, not from the people of Marawi. We do not do that, and we never did it. We liberated Marawi against the terrorists, Maute, pati yung ISIS.
In Metro News, Mayor Vico Soto reminds Pasigueños not to relax as COVID cases in Pasig dip. 10 Connect Tayo Wi-Fi buses deployed in Manila. And Valenzuela City cop recognized for honesty. More from this report.
Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto reminded residents to be more careful and continue observing strict safety and health protocols after the number of active coronavirus disease in the city is now on a downtrend. On his weekly update on his Facebook page, Soto said the number of active COVID-19 cases in Pasig skyrocketed to over 2,200 cases after the quarantine status in National Capital Region was downgraded to general community quarantine. Despite the downtrend in the number of COVID-19 infections in Pasig, Mayor Soto said now is not the time to relax. Soto earlier vowed the local government will further intensify its response against COVID-19. 10 areas in Manila will be provided access internet connection through the launching of mobile Wi-Fi called Connect Tayo School Bus Wi-Fi. Globe Telecom on Monday deployed mobile or school bus Wi-Fi to give internet connection to residents from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. The use of Connect Tayo Wi-Fi service will be free of charge for the first hour for the public school students and teachers who own Globe SIM cards provided by the local government. Users may then extend their internet connection through availing of service for as low as 15 pesos a day. A Valenzuela City cop has been recognized for returning the cash and several valuable items to a man who accidentally left on a motorcycle in Barangay Babaguin. Corporal Michael Estacion was awarded a token by Valenzuela City 2nd District Representative Eric Martinez for his honesty after returning a lost bag containing 5,750 pesos cash, smartphone, ATM card, and other valuables to its owner. Representative Martinez also awarded the cop 10,000 pesos while 5,000 pesos for his colleagues at Babaguin Standby Point Police Station.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. PNP maritime units to receive Danao City-made high-speed watercraft. And General Santos City opens airport to commercial flights. More from this report.
The Philippine National Police has recently acquired 22 units of high-speed tactical watercraft that were built by a shipbuilding company based in Danao City in northern Cebu. Chief of Police Regional Office Central Visayas Police Brigadier General Albert Ignatius Ferro said the speedboats show the engineering and craftsmanship of Cebuanos. The watercrafts will be distributed to different maritime police units in the country. Each boat is powered by 3 outboard motors and is able to reach speeds of more than 40 knots. The watercraft are armed with 7.62mm machine guns and automatic grenade launchers. The local government of General Santos City has recommended the resumption of commercial flights at the city's international airport after being suspended last August due to the coronavirus disease pandemic. But only 6 inbound flights per week will be allowed at the city's airport. The allowable flights will be serviced by Cebu Pacific, Philippine Airlines, and AirAsia that are all operating in the city. Local health authorities are set to implement stringent health protocols for arriving passengers, including the certification of negative RT-PCR tests in the last 72 hours before the flight and mandatory 14-day quarantine.
In world news, Trump calls for a thundering Democrat poll defeat at Arizona rally. Prime Minister recalls Parliament as protesters step up pressure. And over a dozen stranded whales die in New Zealand. Let's watch this report.
Florida voters converged on early polling stations Monday in a pivotal state fought over relentlessly by President Donald Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden as their contentious White House race enters its final 15-day stretch. Record numbers of Americans have already cast ballots in person or by mail, just shy of 30 million according to one tracker, ahead of the November 3 election as the rival race from one swing state to another to marshal support. With Biden dispatching his running mate Kamala Harris to Florida to rally voters there, Trump was on the western swing in battleground Arizona, where he won in 2016 but now narrowly trails his rival in statewide polling. Donald Trump calls on his supporters to deliver Democrats a thundering defeat at elections on November 3rd.
But we have to show them, the Democrats, a thundering defeat on November 3rd. And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician, that's for sure.
Thailand's embattled premier called Monday for a special session of parliament as protesters planned more rallies to demand his resignation, the release of jailed activists, and reform to the monarchy. Tens of thousands of mostly young protesters have taken to the streets in the past week in defiance of an emergency decree banning gatherings of more than 4 people. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha said Parliament, currently in recess, would be recalled to discuss how to reduce tensions. The largely leaderless movement is calling for the resignation of Prayut. Protesters are also making unprecedented demands to reform the powerful and ultra-wealthy monarchy and a greater transparency of royal finances, and for the monarch to stay out of politics. More than a dozen whales have died in New Zealand after becoming stranded in the country's North Island, according to the Department of Conservation. Rescuers and volunteers work all day on Saturday to refloat about 25 of the mammals, part of the pod of about 40 to 50 pilot whales who got stranded earlier that day on a beach in the Coromandel Peninsula. The OC said 5 dead pilot whales were discovered late on Saturday night at a site thought to be the original stranding location.
In entertainment, 3 Filipino films bagged top prizes in separate international film festivals. The Film Development Council of the Philippines congratulated the production teams of Pan de Salawal, Latay, and Filipiniana for their win. The 2018 Cinemalaya film Pan de Salawal, or The Sweet Taste of Salted Bread and Undies, won the Best Film, the low-budget category at the Spain-based 5th Calella Film Festival held last October 10. Meanwhile, Latay, or Battered Husband, won the Gold Award at the 2nd Wallachia International Film Festival held in Bucharest, Romania, last September 11 to 13. Filipiniana, on the other hand, won the Best International Short Film Competition at the 49th Festival du Nouveau Cinéma de Montreal held in Canada last October 14. Filipiniana also bagged the prestigious Silver Bear Jury Prize at the 70th Berlin International Film Festival. And in sports, Edward Folayang of Team Lakay had just embarked on another road to the top in one championship. Folayang takes on Australian foe Antonio Caruso on October 30 in one Inside the Matrix in a closed-door and audience-free setup in Singapore. Holding the event in Singapore is a very important factor, said Folayang, considering that he captured the lightweight belt in the said country for the first time in 2016. The 2-time lightweight champion, however, needs to make huge adjustments since most events were jam-packed with loud spectators before the coronavirus era. For safety purposes and due to health protocols, one championship needed to convert to a closed-door setup since February. Team Lakay coach Mark Sangyao said This is to be the longest training span they have encountered since Folayang, holding a 22-9 record, had prepared for this comeback for 9 long months. Once given the green light, the two will be flying to Singapore Wednesday midnight and will undergo a mandatory 48-hour quarantine upon arrival. And those are the news on Web today, October 20, 2020. It's 65 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.